Advisory notes on the Washington ballot. Just one statewide referendum, and it's had a lot of people and especially parents talking this election season, and that's Referendum 90, the comprehensive sexual health education bill. And looking at some numbers in it so far, it has 60% approval. In fact, the people behind Approve Referendum 90 are declaring victory in this one so far, a pretty wide margin, as once again, about 3/4 of registered voters have weighed in on this. Now, Referendum 90 has been more colloquially referred to as the kindergarten sex ed bill. And in the lead up to the election, a lot of discussion here about exactly what age-appropriate sex ed was for any age group, but specifically for that 6 to 7-year-old age group. And with some more on what has gone into Referendum 90, I'd like to bring in Andrew Bartline. Andrew is a senior journalism and media production student at Washington State University, among the many at WSU's Murrow College who's been watching this election cycle very closely. Andrew, you looked into some of the efforts to get this bill on the ballot, as well as some of the pushback, of course, from those who opposed it. What did you find out?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. The Approve 90 campaign really says that this bill's data-driven. The argument is that comprehensive sex education is safer for kids rather than typical abstinence curriculum or what we have currently in the state. Those who oppose it, though, they say the finer details are concerning. They tried to work across the aisle. There were several amendments proposed for this bill. There was just no meeting in the middle. So those who oppose this bill, they just don't trust the specific language of this bill to mandate comprehensive sex ed in our public schools.
All right, and I think we have a piece from you. You talked to a couple of people who oppose that, including some stories from some folks tonight. Let's take a look.
A father changed Evan Kuhn's life.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Everything now is for his son.
He's grown up. He's 2, so he's at that age where he's talking and all that.
A first-time voter, the father of a 2-year-old has some thinking to do. Now, we'd all expect to see a sexual education curriculum here at a high school, but what about a middle school? What about an elementary school? A state Senate bill proposed that all public school students in the state have some form of a sex ed curriculum young as kindergarten, and your ballot gets a vote on it this general election.
Seems like they're kind of pushing it. They may be giving out a little more information than they should.
The Approve 90 campaign says curriculum is age appropriate, K through 3, subject to social and emotional learning. Parents can review the materials and opt out.
If that's what they really wanted this to be about, they would have mandated Aaron's Law, but they didn't.
Where comprehensive sex ed is taught, kids prolong having sex. So it's safer.
Some schools across the state say it takes power away from local districts. META North Spokane says the unfunded mandate puts them further behind the books.
We're not against sex ed, but we're against comprehensive sex ed being forced into our schools.
Instead of fighting against this really important area of education for our students, let's work on making better curriculum.
This November, Evan can only vote what he thinks is best for his son.
Well, great report there, Andrew. Thank you so much. Now, as a parent of a child who will be in kindergarten next year, certainly been on our radar in our house. So my question, maybe just a little bit of clarity. What is kindergarten sex ed curriculum?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. It took me a little bit to figure it out myself. The term they use is social emotional learning. It's a bit of a word salad. Really what it means, it's K through 3 curriculum, and it's about personal boundaries, human development, identifying trusted adults, healthy decision making, managing emotion, things along those lines.
Some of the efforts to maybe better define that and make it a little clearer for parents like me were shot down. What were some of the qualifiers that initial opponents of the idea had tried to put in there?
Yeah, that's another great question, actually. So social emotional learning, by definition, sounds very appropriate by reasonable standards. Those opposing the bill, though, they're concerned because they offered over 200 amendments to more define what this curriculum allows, what's okay, what's not okay. 40 to 50 of them were discussed, and they were shot down. The only one that was approved was the opt-out option. Just 3 in front of me that I can reference quickly. They wanted to ban sex ed curriculum, materials, and instruction and other coursework. With this bill, there is nothing banning English class from having this material leak over into it. So you can opt your kid out of the structured curriculum You can't opt them out of English class, and nothing stops that. Moreover, grade level learning objectives posted on school websites and made public. Right now, if you want to know the objective of your kindergartner or third grader in this curriculum, they don't legally have to supply the learning objectives to you. And I guess lastly, a good one for older students, how to recognize online predators, danger signs, sex trafficking. It's almost like virtual Aaron's Law, I guess is a good euphemism for it. Resources to report these. That was also denied as well. So you can see people on either side arguing for, moral reasons or over content, but really sort of people in the middle who maybe lean right a little bit. They didn't like this bill because there was an unwillingness to narrowly tailor it and compromise. So it sort of made a health and safety issue with children in our state become partisan.
All right, well, thank you very much, Andrew, for that report. Great work there. And I'm guessing, like a number of things in this election, this is probably not the last we will discuss Referendum 90 before it's enacted. We appreciate your perspective there. Well, let's